Hi traders, Crispin here from FX AlgoTrader. It's Thursday 14th of November 2019 and this is part 6 of our support and resistance series. Just to recap, in the first 5 episodes we talked about swing points, fractals, how to draw a trend line through either a swing point or a fractal, and we then started to talk about price derived support and resistance levels. And that's kind of where we got to over that series of videos. And yesterday, in the last video, we talked about this potential area of resistance here based upon a downtrend and also a price-derived previous support and resistance level, which we defined as being resistance in this case. And sure enough, it was fairly high probability. We saw price enter this kind of area of congestion around the 2850 level, one spot 2850. And you saw it basically fall away back down to the bottom trend line, which acted as support, which also happened to align with our daily S1 pivot level. And in the last video I talked about introducing the concept of pivots into the mix. So what I've got on this chart is the FX AlgoTrader daily, weekly and monthly pivot systems, which are controlled using a Java interface, which I won't go into now. I've synchronized these indicators with the chart, so they're all synchronized to 00 chart hours. And what this has done is created a full pivot array for daily, weekly and monthly pivots. But we're not so interested in the really wide range pivots. We're just interested in what we're seeing on the chart today. So you can see here, after our anticipated short position, price came down, tested the lower channel defined by this trend line here, which we do yesterday, and bounced off this trend line and the confluence of the S1 daily support level, came back, actually broke through the downtrend, went up to yesterday's high and got rejected, came back down and retested the old trend line, which was a resistance line, which now acted as support. And now we've come up to the central pivot for the day, got rejected a couple of times, and now we're breaking through that. And if we break through this previous level of price derived resistance, then we're probably going to go on to retest yesterday's high. So if you were going to play the long side of this, very short term mind you, because we are in a downtrend based upon the higher time frame analysis we did in previous videos, which you can go and have a look at in your own time. But if you wanted to go long, really you should probably be looking for a retest of perhaps this support area here, defined by a new trend line I've drawn from this swing low through this swing low, and I would anticipate that area may act as support. So that's what you do if you wanted to play this long. That's what I would certainly do. If you wanted to go short, you could put a potential short trade in again on a retest of yesterday's high, and your profit target would probably be the central pivot of the day, so the daily central pivot. Just a quick overview about pivots. If you're not familiar with how you trade using pivots or how pivots are structured, they consist of 7 levels. So you have a central pivot for each time frame. So if you have a central daily pivot, a central weekly pivot, and somewhere there'll be a central monthly pivot, which is way down here. And above each time frame you have 3 levels, so R1, R2 and R3, which are resistance levels for the daily pivots, and S1, S2, S3, which are the support levels for the daily pivots. And exactly the same thing applies for the weekly pivots, where you've got WS1, WS2 and WS3, which are support levels on a weekly time frame, and same for resistance levels. And the same thing applies for the monthly. Obviously you just have MR1, MR2 and MR3, which will be much higher, as you can see here, MR1, MR2, MR3. So that's what we're doing with our pivot levels. We're using them to identify potential confluence levels between obviously a pivot, a price derived level of support and resistance, which we've talked about in previous videos, and also trend lines based upon previous swing points. So I think that's more than enough probably for this video. We're kind of beginning to put together a series of tools which we can then use to start to potentially automate our trading entries. And what I will do in the next video, I'll introduce the concept of automated trendline trading systems. So there you go. Thanks for watching.